Kevin Hunter on the Business Forum show with Amy Nelson and Tom Siders. Our guest is Marie Obrien, who's the president and CEO of Enterforce. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Glad to be here today.
And tell our listeners a little bit about your organization and what specifically you do.
Well, Enterforce is a workforce management company. And what we do is we assist our clients in managing their labor that's non-employees. So temporary workforce, consulting workforce, interns, independent contractors, anyone that's a non-employee in the environment. So if you think about it, it's a complete supply chain of its own.
Sure.
So many major manufacturers, organizations have hundreds of suppliers. We manage those suppliers for their organizations.
Wow. Very impressive.
Thank
you
you.
Manage my suppliers.
Well, maybe.
Well, when you mention manufacturing,
Yeah.
I have to say, because this has kind of been a topic of conversation on the Business Forum show recently, and we've become more and more aware that manufacturing is really making a resurgence in the United States
Yes.
from where things were in the not distant past. So what's been your experience with that, and what do you see some of the contributing things to that?
Well, that's a good question. We've experienced the outsourcing, the offshoring, the nearshoring over the last 10 years, and now we're seeing some of that come back, and maybe some entrepreneurial activity. We're seeing more and more of that happening in the United States, and it's an exciting time, I think, for our economy,
Sure.
for our workforce, and really for entrepreneurs in general. The manufacturing world is becoming smart, efficient, and I think we're part of that solution.
Absolutely. Your
Now,
thoughts,
Kevin, I
Tom?
just read some statistics the other day that manufacturing growth exceeds the growth of our own economy,
Sure.
and that we are currently the 10th. If you took U.S. manufacturing by itself, it's the 10th largest economy in the world.
Yeah.
So it's clearly a force to be reckoned with. But
Yeah.
I'm very curious as to how you help manufacturers. What is it specifically, the benefits you bring if we engage your firm as a manufacturer to?
Great question. So what we do is we make their processes efficient. So in the manufacturing world, they're looking to hire manufacturing help, maybe light industrial, heavy industrial, manufacturing engineering, IT, anything that has to support a manufacturer. I mean, they bring in help that's outside of their employees. And it's at every level, from your C level right to the shop floor. So we impact them from systems efficiency, cost control, and risk mitigation. And when I say risk mitigation, what we're doing is when they're bringing in contingent workers, there's always that co-employment issue, and contracts issue and compliance issues. We help them with all of that. We save our clients millions of dollars every year.
In payroll taxes.
And many, yes, in payroll taxes.
Well, when I think about manufacturers, and it really doesn't matter what they do, you know, one of the benefits I could see with working with an organization like yours is that they're really looking for people across the gamut in a lot of different areas. And so it's kind of different than if you're dealing with somebody who's basically an office staff. And it doesn't mean to suggest that there's not going to be a big variance in education and skills in those areas as well. But manufacturing definitely has a wide array of skill levels and educational needs with the people they're looking for.
Absolutely, and manufacturers are going to have a challenge over the next 10 years as we're going to hit these talent shortages, and it's going to be very, very difficult. One of the things that scares me is we're going to have about 150 million positions in the professional technical world, and less than 50 million to fill those seats. So my
Wow.
job is to help my customers get to that talent, be efficient.
Repeat that again.
Last time I checked, Kevin, if we wanted to grow some technology people, we need to start now, and we might have them in about 24 years. So
You're
this
right.
This is not an easy overnight fix on the talent shortage.
Absolutely.
Repeat that again. You said there's
Certainly.
150 million?
By the year 2025, there will be over 150 million professional technical positions in the United States available, and less than 50 million to fill that.
That is staggering.
Yes.
It is.
It's scary.
It's amazing.
Amy, your thoughts?
So one of the things I'm a little confused about is,
Sure.
are you an actual staffing company, or do you just do more of the HR related side for your clients?
Great question. No, we're not a staffing company. By design, by choice, I come out of the staffing industry, engineering and IT and professional and technical, but one of the things that I bring to our customers is a level playing field for the vendor base. So anyone that's a supplier in our network, we're an advocate for them as well as an advocate for our clients. We're interdependent on each other for the success of our programs. So not a staffing firm by design. We do not compete with the suppliers that we manage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tom?
So you basically connect folks and manage processes and systems for all of the non-employees, which means then the company doesn't need another 23 HR people.
You're right.
To manage that process.
You're exactly right.
I pretty well got it.
And we use technology to make it very efficient, and we bring together all of the service organizations within a client. So contracts don't have to be negotiated by their legal department. We do that for them. We standardize that. Accounting doesn't need to have 25 million invoices coming at them. We do that for them. They get one invoice. You know, we take care of many of the service organization functions as it relates to outside talent.
Marie, everybody who's in business is doing what they're doing because of some passion or something that's driving them. What drives you?
Yeah. Well, I came out of staffing, as I shared with you earlier. And one of the things that really got in my craw, if you will, is having that opportunity to make it to the big table when you're
Sure.
working with the big customers. And if you work for a small company or a minority-owned company, it's not that easy to get to that table. So what I wanted to do is provide a platform that allowed all of the firms that worked in a particular program the same access to the work. If you work hard, you get the job. And I'm proud to say that I have small, minority-owned firms, women-owned firms that started with us that are star players in some of our programs in Fortune 100 companies. And that's been my passion driving this.
Which they never would have gotten
Never.
the opportunity to work with a company like that.
Correct.
And put them on their resume as we've worked with. That's
Correct. Many staffing firms have an arm, a management arm, but they basically fill the orders and then they give the leftovers to the second tiers. Second tiers are the first tiers in my program, and they get the opportunity right out of the gate.
One of the questions I have for you, because when you look over the last 100 years of our country and how industry and organizations have had to change with changing times, well, that time frame is being cut shorter and shorter and shorter as we move into the future. What do you see some challenges for Enterforce in the years ahead, and how do you see yourself staying ahead of those challenges?
Being relevant, keeping up with technology, because again, our clients are on either a very fast pace, moving into different technology platforms, or they're either in complete influx or change. And change management is difficult. If you look at the larger or older organizations, I mean, that's probably a subject that you've had many conversations about.
Sure.
But change management in older companies is very difficult. They're learning today how to change faster. And so do we. We need to do the same thing. I think that's one of the things that we have to stay ahead of.
How long has your organization been around?
We're in our 12th year.
12th year. Okay. We had a conversation with somebody who I think had been around 84 years here just a short bit ago. And that was one of the questions I had for them, you know, creating an organization that even came through the Great Depression and everything else. How do you maintain that mental flexibility for what's coming ahead? Because sure, there were big challenges behind us, but the future is going to bring new ones and require, you know, business owners and entrepreneurs to have a much wider horizon than they ever did before.
I agree. I think education is one of the bigger things that we really focus on. Employee development. Again, to get ahead of that scale, ahead of the curve, and we really promote it and we support it.
With what you've seen in the business world, what advice would you give to business owners out there?
Well, if you're a new entrepreneur, just get started. Get connected, get funded. I mean, those are the things that you really need to do. And then connections. I mean, really connections today are what's going to take you into the future. And be creative.
Tom, you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, how do you market? I mean, it says you deal with a lot of Fortune 1000 companies.
Yep.
Do you drop below the 1000 or do you...
We do for a specific program, what we call as in our Alliance program. It's one that's an aggregate of smaller companies that we do the same thing, but we use a supply chain that's shared amongst different customers.
Okay, so
But we
kind of
market-
like their own alliance.
Right, exactly. But to the larger companies, we go from the C level to the director level. That's really where we need to go because it's a strategy. It's a large business strategy, and we are driving change at the highest level of an organization because that's where the decisions are made for the consultants that are coming in the door, for the engineers that are coming in the door, IT, and everyone else that is contingent in manner.
Amy, you have any parting shots here for Marie?
No, I think it's great. And I think you have a
Thank
lot
you.
of energy, and
Thank you.
I'm sure that also carries through the organization. And we talk about energy
Yeah.
a lot on the show, and you have to have it, or else it's
you do.
failure.
One of the
option.
comments that I've made to many business owners, that if you figure out how to outlaugh your competition, you'll laugh all the way to the bank. So if you can figure out how to make work fun and
I
enjoyable,
think so too.
and get people to want to come to work.
Well, and her business is perfect when the companies are going through change because the employees have somebody else to hate besides.
It's true. It's true.
It is
We
true.
are the
You
pounding
are.
block.
You
Yes,
are.
yes,
Yes.
we are. Absolutely.
I'm Kevin Hunter with Amy Siders and Amy Nelson and Tom Siders on the Business Forum Show. We're visiting with Marie Obrien from Enterforce. You can find them on the web at enterforce.com. Again, Kevin Hunter and the Business Forum Show with Marie Obrien. Thanks for listening.